Train Sim World 4 Roadmap, June 2024. TLDR, too long, didn't read summary. 1. Cargo Line Volume 2 Aggregates, released last month. 2. Cathcart Circle Remaster and Scott Rail Class 380 all new images and details. 3. DBBR 218 new images and information from TSG. 4. Expert DBBR 101 more details on the expert level functionality. 5. News from Rivet Games on 11 branch for 5 Circle 6. Background projects, brief updates on projects we haven't discussed recently. 7. Summer Core Update, Core and UK fixes released, DE and US improvements on the way. 8. Suspension improvements coming in July, plus new video on Blackpool branches locos. 9. PC Editor June Mega Spotlight showcasing 15 community-created projects, with details, images and videos. 10. City Transport Simulator, TRAM, first roadmap released last week. And just to cover the changes from the previous graphic. 1. Changed Summer Core Update to Summer Core Update, DE and US. 2. Removed 5 Circle Line improvements, these have been released. 3. Removed Formation Designer Creators Club functionality, this has been released. 4. Moved DE Loco, Simtrack Studios from 4-6 months to release date TBC. 5. Moved German route from release date TBC to 4-6 months. 6. Added DE Loco to 4-6 month add-ons, first party. We've seen an increasing amount of third parties getting involved in Train Sim World, which is wonderful and exciting for the future. But we also want to remain confident on setting realistic expectations to players for release dates when we announce new projects. As a standard, we are now aiming to have seen development builds of an add-on before we move it beyond the release date TBC section. This may mean that certain projects don't see much movement over the course of many months, or that the TBC area becomes overinflated, in which we may need to reapproach how we display this infographic. This is still a big learning process for our teams, as well as the third-party developers who we are working alongside us, and will continue to evolve this process naturally as we go onwards. We hope you understand the reasoning. The goal is to give as clear a picture as we can for upcoming releases that you can expect coming to Train Sim World. The Train Sim World Roadmap. Welcome to June everyone. Today we're sharing our latest developer roadmap update for you all on Train Sim World. In this update we have a range of new images and detailed feature list for the Cathcart Circle Remaster, coming soon as a free update to all Train Sim World 4 players who own the route. We've also got new information from the TSG team on both the DBBR 218 and the Expert DBBR 101 locomotives releasing soon, and a quick update on additional projects from both first and third-party teams. For development insights this month, we have new videos that highlight the upcoming suspension improvements across locos from Blackpool branches, and confirmation that you can expect these to arrive in mid-late July, including the core range of TSW4 stock and more from TSW4 released routes. We also share news on the next core patch coming to TSW, focusing on German and US add-ons alongside core improvements. As a bonus, this roadmap features a large PC editor community spotlight, with lots of submitted images, videos and details for custom-created projects being developed by fantastic players of Train Sim World. Be sure to take a look through what the community has been working on. We'll be live tonight, Thursday, June 6th at 1800 hours UTC 1900 hours BST, to talk you through this full article, and you can find a stream event link at the end. Released add-ons. Cargo Line Volume 2 Aggregates. Last month saw the release of the Cargo Line Volume 2 Aggregates Pack, which brings freight haulage to Midland Main Line, Great Western Express and Southeastern High Speed courtesy of the Class 66. Operate services in and out of yards featuring loading-unloading facilities before moving out onto the main lines through the Midlands and the West, or work diverted trains through Kent in 3 separate scenarios. Content up ahead. Cathcart Circle Remaster plus Scott Rail Class 380. This month, to kick off the news on upcoming content to Train Sim World, we'll be sharing details for the free Glasgow Cathcart Circle Line Remaster, coming soon to TSW4. Our game designer Liam has shared the key features you can expect. 1. New timetable, with images below. 2. TOG4 upgrade. 3. Updated route scenery, landscape and foliage. 4. Updated track and signal visuals. 5. Updated the Class 314 with new lighting, rain effects and added GSMR 6. Updated Glasgow Central lighting, scenery, pies and passenger spawn location. 7. Updated all stations with new lighting and passenger spawn locations. 8. Added new lighting to the bridges around Glasgow. 9. Added scenery for the disused Netherton Goods, Crossmiloof and Dumbreck stations. 10. Added scenery and track for the disused Smithy Lie sidings 11. Added scenery and lighting for Shields Depot 12. Added interactable player bench at Glasgow Central and Pollock Shields East. What a list. We're very excited to be sharing a second TSW4 remaster with you all for the Cathcart Circle Line route and bring it up to modern TSW standards. With a full lighting upgrade to stations and scenery, newly added ambient lighting around urban areas and updated lighting around Glasgow and its bridges, the city really does shine at night. Liam, it wouldn't be fair to leave the Class 314 alone when upgrading its home route. That's why as part of this remaster the train has had its lighting overhauled with the addition of TSW4 rain effects, making the train right at home in the newly overhauled Cathcart route. And as a bonus, our game designer Joe has curated a selection of new screenshots for the Cathcart Circle timetable, including the ScotRail Class 380, and a tease for Skyhook Games ScotRail Class 158. Various trains at Glasgow including Skyhook Games' upcoming ScotRail Class 158. Various AI will be included at Newton, including this 6-car Class 314 Cumbernauld to Damour and this LNER Class 801 ECS Edinburgh Waverley to Glasgow Central. Various AI at Glasgow are included, such as this ScotRail Class 380 heading to Largs. Flying Scotsman also makes an AI appearance at Glasgow Central. There are many times at Glasgow Central, trains will share platforms with each other, sometimes even having 3 trains in a platform at once. The rear set will have its doors locked to ensure passengers board the right train. Then once the first train departs, the rear train will open its doors. Playable 6-car Class 314s, a highly requested feature, also make an appearance when and where realistic. Another rail tour at Glasgow using the Just Trains 47 and Scotsman MK2 coaches. We're not quite ready to reveal when you will be able to get your hands on this remaster, and the ScotRail Class 380, but we'll keep you updated when you can find out more. Partner Program Update. DBBR 218 developed by TSG. We're back this month with an update from TSG with more screenshots for the upcoming DBBR 218, and also information on the expert DBBR 101 below. Here are some brand new images on how the progress has been going. Additionally, the TSG teams have included the 218 in the Mandelbaum timetable, swapped out for the 642. Here's Mike, a developer at TSG, with more information. Mike, the Mandelbaum timetable is a copy of the original where some of the locos are not using the 642 but the 218. It uses a push-pull configuration with only 3 dostas. These are representing the services that were running a quite short time on the route as a sort of test. Since we need gameplay, we thought that would be nice to have it in there. This week we also reached out to you to answer some questions you had about the DBBR 218. Currently in our builds, the sounds are placeholder whilst we work on implementing these. I have gathered real recordings made by a driver of this low-code that we intend to use, and we're investigating if we can source more audio for the engine noises. Q, can you talk more about the model for the DBBR 218? We've worked hard to implement a high level of detail on the 218, especially across the exteriors. As a note for when you move inside, normally you'd expect to be standing in an open room where all the engine parts are visible, however as we're not able to reproduce that, you'll notice a wall with closed doors on both sides that restricts this vision. Q, will there be more than one livery for the 218? Currently no, there may be plans in the future to add more but with this release it will just be one. Q, will it substitute with other freight train locos? Due to the other locos being twice that powerful as 218s, currently we don't have any substitution set up as a single 218 would not be enough to get those heavier trains moving. As a reminder of the key features you can expect with the DBBR 218. 1. DBBR 218 Series 400 with TB11 engine in Traffic Red 2, N-Wagens in Traffic Red with a diesel desk version of the Karlsruher Cathcart 3. Timetable mode for Hamburg-Lübeck 4 scenarios, including route length runs, a rescue mission of a stranded RE with a double formation of 218s, and a freight run with a mixed and heavy train from Lübeck to near Hamburg 5, 2 tutorials on Training Center for the 218 loco and an adopted N-Wagen Cathcart tutorial for the new diesel desk 6. Journey mode services. We're not quite ready to confirm the date that this will be released, however you can expect this add-on to be the next release coming to Train Sim World 4. Keep an eye on our announcements over the next few weeks for more information on when you can expect to pick up this loco. Expert DBBR 101, developed by TSG. Sticking with TSG, we have more detailed insights for the Expert DBBR 101 from our senior technical producer Lucas who works with the TSG team. For those not familiar, the Expert 101 is a re-release of the iconic DBBR 101 locomotive that aims to serve players who are interested in a much more detailed, authentic experience and providing a higher level of functionality. Lucas, this project started out with the idea. What would it be if you had to do everything a real trained driver needs to do? To do this, we explored lots of new areas that haven't been done before in TSW and developing new techniques and approaches to this much deeper level of functionality, pushing the limits of what we can simulate. The image below shows both of the simograph node trees for the Expert DBBR 101 and the original release of the DBBR 101 at an identical zoom level. Essentially, this is a structure of the physics when simulating the train and helps visualizes the difference in functionality between the two. We ended up with a loco with a fully detailed machine room, with all breakers and valves working that a trained driver would interact with. After all, a lot of the locomotive startup and fault solving happens here. This includes oil pump coolers to PZB valves on the brake rack. To make good use of this detail, the loco comes with a fault simulation system that can be turned on. Here numerous different faults can occur. Don't worry, you won't be left alone with this. A manual will be provided that explains resolving each of these, from traction motors failing, to PZB failures and a cascade of failures if certain systems start to blow out others, all correctly displayed on the train's digital displays and panels, making every drive a new experience. Scenarios and tutorials will display these features and guide you through them to learn more about the loco without reading the manual, though some amount of manual reading will be required. First, in TSW LZB input panel that requires entering max speed and brake rate values to simulate PZB LZB on a higher level. The brake rate is calculated through the train's max weight and describes its braking performance in the current configuration, considering current available systems. The ZDE panel then sets the PZB mode from these values. There is no switch like before for everyone that thinks this is too much and they maybe just want to experience the new cab car. A new menu setting is available for this line of locomotives. Turning off expert mode will default the safety system and fault simulation to off, and the locomotive and cab car will behave more like a traditional locomotive you are used to in TSW. Thank you, Lucas. For everyone who's excited for this release, stay tuned to our announcements for when we're ready to reveal more about the pricing and the release date. Rivet Games Update. Last month in May, we shared an update to Train Sim World 4 that focuses on improvements for Rivet Games add-ons, including a large update to Hive Circle, bringing new services, route improvements and key fixes for issues raised by the community from launch. You can read all these on our May 14th update notes. As a quick summary, this update to Hive Circle included 1. Route optimizations and performance improvements. 2. 33 Cowdenbeath services to the base layer. 3. 6 Flying Scotsman Rail Tour services. 4. 2 Jubilee Rail Tour services. 5. 2 Class 40 services going to and from Dunfermline City. 6. A new procedural foliage system, as seen in the Overground line. 7. Fixed the pop-in issue of the fourth bridge on Xbox One. Rivet Games have also committed to adding the Leven branch to Hive Circle as a free update, and earlier this week on June 2nd, the real-life Leven branch line was officially opened, meaning their teams can now take the time to visit and gather the required references to properly recreate the branch. We'll keep you updated as their teams begin work developing this for Hive Circle in the months ahead. Background projects. This new segment will act as a quick update on routes and projects we've not talked about in a few months that are continuing development in the background, that we've not had more news on or little to share in our roadmap officially. It will not include everything that's happening, but it gives us a chance to have some answer to expected questions that you have for future releases. 1. Skyhook Games are continuing development on the ScotRail Class 158. 2. Simtrack Studios are continuing work on the BR Class 104 and Peak Forest Expansion Pack 3. Simtrack Studios DE Loco moved to release date TBC whilst we wait for a build. Please see the note about timelines near the top of the article for more information on timelines for Kernel timetable. Currently the Kernel timetable isn't finished as Joe has been prioritizing the Cathcart timetable rebuild. We'll share more news on this project when further developments. 5. San Bernardino. Work is continuing on developing San Bernardino. Currently it remains in the 4-6-month release window as we develop the infrastructure for the route. Patches and updates. Summer Core Patch. Earlier this week we released the first part of our Summer Core Patch, including core changes and key improvements for UK content that have been flagged by our teams and raised by your community feedback. You can view the full list of patch notes on our forums, and as a reminder of the headliner changes. 1. Saved HUD settings should remain persistent between sessions on console platforms. 1. All connection elements, including gangways and cables, will now connect between vehicles. 2. DVD DSD will no longer beep when train is stationary, even when reverser is in neutral. 3. GSMR now plays the correct sounds on startup and when interacting. 4. Added flange squeal sounds. 5. Fixed an issue where glass would become opaque at certain angles. 1. Fixed rear doors on the Class 377 being stuck open when spawning into a service. 1. Updated scenarios and services to correctly use new TSW4 scoring systems. 1. Fixed the Who Dares Win scenario on PS5 being incompletable due to a stuck 465 train preventing completion. 1. Fixed an issue where further objectives stop appearing after the lock the doors objective. Cargo Line Volume 1 Petroleum Various improvements to use Class 66 and TVTG tankers. West Somerset Railway, scenery improvements and gameplay fixes for services. As an additional note, some of you may have noticed that in this patch we added an unbranded version of the Class 387GX livery to the London Overground Suffragette Line timetable. This was to add further AI traffic to the short stretch of East Coast Main Line between Haringey Green Lanes and Crouch Hill where unbranded Class 387s can sometimes be seen running in real life. This variant is not drivable or selectable from the menu, but can be seen at the AIECML portals at the following times: 0708, 0809, 0911, 1716, 1816, 1922. This is only half of our summer core patch. We've got more improvements coming imminently that target community reports and other improvements across DE and US routes. We appreciate your patience and support in raising these issues, and we should be getting these improvements to you in June-July. We'll keep you updated on what's included once we finalize the change log. Progress on improvements. Suspension improvements. We wanted to keep you updated on how our teams have been progressing with our work adding new suspension improvements to trains in Train Sim World 4. Work is continuing well, and we're now at a point where we're able to share with you that these improvements are coming to all Train Sim World 4 players in mid-late July next month. We'll be able to confirm an exact date once the final changes have been completed and we can fit them to a build, but we're reaching the final stages of getting these improvements ready, which has taken longer than we initially expected, and we want to deeply thank you all for the extended patience you've had waiting. As for what's included, currently we have finished work on suspension for all TSW4 core locos, and now the teams are looking at including as many of the locos from routes that released after TSW4 as we can, whilst being able to deliver these to you in mid-late July. As this work is still continuing, we can't confirm the entire list, but what we can do today is preview these suspension improvements on post-TSW4 routes with locos from Just Trains Blackpool branches. As many of you may remember, the pacer that comes with this route was the first train to use the new suspension technology, so Just Trains were keen to bring it to the other stock that comes in the pack too. First up, you will be seeing the Class 08 riding over the junctions with some shots from the side and in the cab, and I'm sure you'll agree it's a much more dynamic experience than it is without the suspension setup. The second part of the video is showcasing the Class 47 and coaches, where the effect is much more subtle. You can just about see the wheels dipping into the joints. This one really takes effect when it's at speed, with more bounce and rock experienced as the train rides at faster speeds. It's great to see Just Trains pushing ahead with brand new tech like this, and it levels up what is already an outstanding route and driving experience. Please continue to send through any thoughts on our dedicated feedback forums. PC Editor, June Mega Spotlight. Now, it's time to shift the spotlight over to our fantastic community of creators and developers. Thank you for those who reached out to share their projects, and especially for all of you who continue to update regularly on our PC Editor forums. By no means is the following selection a complete list of the projects being made. We've selected a range of creations that were recently updated and were submitted to us. If you'd like to suggest a project to highlight, whether it's one you're excited about or currently developing, get in touch with us via the forums. As a reminder, these are all custom community-created projects that Dovetail are not developing, so please do not use the following list as an indication of areas we intend to share officially for Train Sim World. We also may have amended some screenshots to hide official licenses being displayed. Community-made route projects. 1. Stuttgart-Würzburg by Black Pulsar. This project was one we shared back in December 2023, and has continued to grow with more updates and images, including a YT video that highlights buildings being blocked out. Tracks have yet to be laid whilst scenery is progressed, the images below depicting Stuttgart Station. 1. Streck Hanover, Hamburg by Trainspotting Norden. Since our spotlight in May last month, Norden has provided more scenery developments and track layout screenshots. 1. Middlesbrough Whitby and Pickering by Andy Goff. This project was another highlight we added to our May roadmap last month, and this month you will be able to see new screenshots, including a WIP swing bridge, and view a 31-minute gameplay of the route in its very early development stages. 1. West Grunau im Almtal by Fetty the Shepherd. This month we've got more screenshots to showcase for this route development, with a grander view of the scenery. You can also find detailed hand-drawn timetable breakdowns and timings for all the services for this project, right on their forum thread. 1. London Map by Incrediblehans. This new project popped up in May, and is likely the most ambitious one we've seen yet, with Incrediblehans attempting to recreate the entire network railway of London. The progress images speak volumes for themselves on the development so far. 1. Dieselnetz Euskirchen by Cathcart 6S has also provided a short update video, showcasing what it's like to drive across the track and highlighting the LiDAR data that they've implemented on their route. You can find more breakdowns for their process and planned route on their forums thread. 1. Doncaster to Sheffield by Moofers. Our final route project takes us to the Doncaster-Sheffield line, and we have been treated with screenshots for scenery, buildings, track and even a tram. Community-made loco projects. 1. Nahab D3 by Oystein. We last checked in on this loco project back in our October 2023 roadmap, and it's come a long way since, with updated textures, front logo obscured and interior details. 1. MK3 Loco Hauled Coaches by Matt Thonegray. This project has created a set of MK3 Loco Hauled coaches with hook and chain couplers, buffers and a selection of fan-favorite liveries. Community-made timetable projects. 1. Tees Valley Line Timetable by Fox. This project was one we followed in previous roadmaps near when it started, and has since been shared to the public, and includes new rolling stock from Blackpool branches. 1. München Augsburg Timetable by Vindicity. We showed this project back in March, and the updates have continued, the latest being just yesterday, to bring more service variety to the line. Timetable. 1. Bremen Oldenburg Timetable by Gamer TV. This was a second project for LPG Gamer TV and has recently been completed to be used by the public. Within the thread, linked via the title text, you can find various YouTube videos that showcase the timetable in action. 1. A Rosaline Timetable by Redcraft98. This timetable is very near completion as worded by Redcraft, and includes 191 additional services, 94 of which are playable. 1. East Coast Way Timetable by Too Tall Tyler. This project has been released to provide more use of rolling stock on the line, and include newer trains from recent add-ons. 1. Dresden Riesa Timetable by McCree. This project began way back in October 2023, and has since had over 400 comments that update regularly on progress, even until earlier this week. Make sure to check this one out. Interested in any of the above projects? Be sure to show the creators some love via their forum submissions, all hyperlinked to the title of their creation. Thank you to everyone who continues to update and share support for editor projects. We'll come back to highlight more updates on these developments and new creations in future roadmaps. If you're looking for more support resources on learning the PC editor tools, get engaged on our PC editor forums or take a dive into a public TSW editor documentation spreadsheet, created by Matan, also known as Train Simplay, which has links to all of our official resources, a huge range of community resources, and plenty of tutorials guides all in one place. City Transport Simulator, Tram Roadmap. For those of you who are interested in knowing more about our growing CDS, tram developments, just last week we shared the first ever roadmap that includes an overview on upcoming content, screenshots, trailers and behind the scenes news on current developments. Early access for PC will be available on June 20th, and we can't wait to see what you think. If this interests you, please read the full CDS, tram roadmap on the Steam news page. Roadmap live stream. Exec producer Matt and senior community manager Alex will be talking about all the things we've featured above and answering your submitted questions in our May roadmap live stream. The stream will begin from 1800 hours UTC 1900 hours BST on our YouTube and Twitch channels. Have a question for us? Put it in our June roadmap Q&A thread and we'll answer as many as we can live tonight.